This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dress season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and your everyday wardrobe. Discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy, too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
I'm Candice Lim.
And I'm Kate Lindsay. And you're listening to ICYMI.
In case you missed it.
Slate's podcast about internet culture.
And Kate, by the time this episode comes out, you will have gone to and survived your college reunion. I would love to make some predictions. Like, what do you think is going to happen? And then maybe we'll come back, see if they came true in the next episode.
So obviously the thing I'm fantasizing about is that I walk in and everyone's heads turn and they're like, totally. That's Kate. And
that's
wow,
Kate,
not only is she hotter than we remember, but she's even more successful than we all thought she would be because everyone's always thinking about me. In reality, I do feel that I keep forgetting that it's not just my year going to this reunion. The way my school does it is basically, if it's a year ending with a 5 or a 10, you're invited. And so it's people's 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20, 25. There are going to be a lot more real adults there. And I do think, because otherwise people, of course, would be thinking about me. But I think ultimately I will be surprised with how little people I actually recognize and know.
I definitely can see you stalking across the quad. Someone runs up to you with their iPhone. They're going, oh my God, I'm listening to the pod. I love you on pod. Sign my phone. And you're like, okay.
As I've sort of shown, I do have a penchant for any time I'm asked to contribute to any kind of playlist, like my sister's Bachelorette playlist.
Right.
I will add the most recent episode of the pod to it, so it'll randomly come up. That is called guerrilla marketing.
There you go. And it's so fitting that you're going to a reunion. I think it's a reunion season probably because a few weeks ago, literally during one of our production meetings, I got an Instagram notification about my high school reunion and I just froze, blacked out. You guys were talking about something important. I just kind of went to a different space.
Well, high school is a whole different,
Right? Because I've just been in this dilemma spiral ever since about whether or not I'm going. But are you excited, nervous? Was there any doubt in your mind about attending?
So had it been, if it was a high school one, would never go to that. Yeah. But the weird thing about this is that my 5-year reunion was in 2020, which was a year that doesn't exist. And so it was canceled. And I think, the college did ultimately try to do kind of a makeup one a few years later. It was not ever. It was weird. Nobody really went. And so I think a lot of us have been holding out for 10-year. And for the most part, it's just, there's some events. There's the first night there's a trivia. I don't know what the trivia is going to be, but it's for just my class. And I don't know if it's going to be about the school, but there's trivia. There is a sort of tradition. When you're a freshman, you sing some of these songs on the steps of this one building, and then when you're a senior, they haul you back over there and you sing it again. It's supposed to be really symbolic. And so yes, again in this reunion, there will be singing as kind of yet another bookmark. So singing, trivia, and also all the events are open bar. So do with that information what you will.
Ooh, okay. So I foresee some drunk singing in your near future because you were obviously part of a cappella.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want to hear about. Yeah. I was in an a cappella group. rudely, though, like when you got the form for like, you know, what things were you involved in? Because I think some of these groups will reunite in smaller pockets. They had a drop-down list of a cappella groups, and mine was not on there. So either it doesn't exist anymore, or they don't think acoustapella, which is what it was, which is a blend of acoustic guitar and a cappella, they don't think that counts, and they're probably right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's so funny. I mean, like, and was a cappella cool at your school?
So I know this sounds like something that someone who was in the a cappella group would say, but I think it was. I would say that like of the big on-campus groups, you were either on the side of like a cappella, radio, music, that type of thing, or you were on the Greek life side and Never the Twain Shall Meet.
Interesting. Yeah. And I kind of wonder if in a way like a cappella was like the Pan-Hellenic Council of your college experience, which is very fitting because, look, we are firmly in graduation season. And the story I've been following online is the tale of two Greek life chefs on TikTok who are giving a backdoor look at like the fraternity and sorority houses they cook for. I want to tell you all about them, but first, let's take a break. When we come back, how two Greek life chefs got popular, what their diners think of their food, and why TikTok loves pitting them against each other.
This episode is brought to you by the ACLU. The Trump administration is pushing a dangerous and sweeping agenda to control our bodies, our families, and our lives. President Trump has signed far-reaching executive orders that target transgender people, their rights, and their health care. But the ACLU and their partners are in court fighting back. Meanwhile, the ACLU is also at the Supreme Court fighting for the future of transgender people's freedom and bodily autonomy for all. U.S. v. Skrmetti centers on a Tennessee law restricting healthcare access for trans youth. Tennessee has asked the Supreme Court to expand the ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade to allow it. The fights for abortion and trans healthcare are connected. Learn more at aclu.org/autonomy. Vacation season is nearly upon us, and this year it's time to treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve with Quince's high-quality travel essentials at fair prices. I just came back from a trip, and the whole time I was using a hand-me-down suitcase with a broken handle. It's certainly not going to last through summer. Next time, though, I'd take one of Quince's best-selling expandable carry-on suitcases so I can breeze through airports while still taking everything I need with me. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands, like lightweight European linen styles from $30, washable silk tops, and comfy lounge sets, with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. For your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/online for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/online to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/online. Hey there! If you love our podcast, then maybe you should consider subscribing to Slate Plus to immediately unlock bonus episodes. Plus, you'll access ad-free listening across all your favorite Slate podcasts, including bi-weekly bonus episodes of our show. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts by clicking Try Free at the top of our show page, or visit slate.com/ICYMI Plus to get access wherever you listen. And we're back. So Candice, today we're going back to college because you're obsessed with these two Greek life chefs on TikTok, which it goes to show how kind of not mainstream the Greek life at my school was, because I didn't even know they had chefs. That's news to me and maybe would have changed my decision not to join. But one of these chefs works for a sorority, the other for a fraternity. How did you end up meeting them?
Yeah, so the story time is that I did not go to a school with a big Greek life population. I went to Boston University. I'm speaking from the outside, which is that I do think some people found Greek life kind of lame or extra on campus. And so, like, anytime I see TikTok content about frats and sororities, I'm so intrigued. I'm like, take me inside. I need to know if Zac Efron and Seth Rogen are in there. Is this like the movie Neighbors?
Yeah. The Greek life, it wasn't cringy, but it wasn't, also like everyone like being like, these guys are so cool. But I will say our school did have a rule that when they had parties, they had to be all campus parties. Like they weren't allowed to be like, only hot girls or whatever. Like it had to be thrown for everyone. There had to be pizza. And so I would hop around. Yeah, this was so Kenyon they were not a dry campus. So you were allowed to drink on it, but obviously you needed to be of age. But one of the ways they worked on keeping things safe was that any party that had alcohol had to also serve pizza. And so I would literally hop from party to party because, one, they couldn't not let me in. That was the rule. And two, I wanted their pizza. But, I think the last time, when I see that, I'm like, that's different than what I'm seeing on TikTok. Because the last time that Greek life had a big TikTok moment was Bama Rush. When people were poking fun at the kind of psychotic cult-like recruitment videos at the University of Alabama, where sorority sisters would all dress in like matching white clothing and basically convert members.
The University of Alabama is the top sorority recruitment in all of the country.
Rush consists of 4 highly competitive rounds.
Let's be honest, I probably would not be going to Alabama if it did not blow up on TikTok.
HBO made a documentary about it. There were so many Substacks and podcasts about it. And TikTok was probably the reason Bama Rush blew up. I mean, ICYMI did a fantastic episode about it back in 2021 about how racism, classism, and this very like homogenous white culture would thrive on a place like TikTok.
So let's bring in these frat and sorority chefs because this is maybe the not as glamorous side of Greek life, even though, I mean, the receiving of food that's been cooked, especially for you, that's glamorous. But the people making it, that's less so. And people are really jumping on it.
Yeah. So I will start with the big dog, Kevin Ashton, a.k.a. Old School Kevmo. I wonder if you've seen him on your For You page.
Yeah, I think so. Does he kind of look like he might be going fishing or to like a Grateful Dead concert?
Yes, exactly. Long beard, old t-shirt. Kevin is the chef of Pi Beta Phi Sorority House at the University of Nevada, Reno. And back in 2020, Kevin's TikTok was mainly quick, easy cooking videos like how to make zucchini pancakes and sticky toffee pudding. And I have to say, he was getting views, okay? Like more than 10K, all the way to like a carne asada taco video that has 1.3 million views.
Oh my gosh, sticky toffee pudding, underrated. But so when he was making those, was that at the sorority house?
Not yet, because Kevin's story is that he cooked his whole life, he went to culinary school in Portland, and he trained under a chef named Daniel Brophy. Brophy did make headlines because he was shot and killed by his wife in the very classroom where Kevin went to culinary school.
I did not see murder coming up in this episode.
And the wife also happened to be a romance novelist who, prior to the murder, wrote an essay called How to Murder Your Husband.
Okay, 1, kind of chic. 2, very like OJ If I Did It.
I know, exactly. This is the part of the episode where like I almost did a deep dive and I was like, no, pull back.
New episode, it's about this, yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, back to Kevin. Kevin worked as a chef in restaurants for like 30 years, and when the pandemic hit, his restaurant closed, and he decided to take a break, which he said was good for him because he was burnt out. His body was achy. He was exhausted, and so he retires from the restaurant industry, and he starts making cooking videos on TikTok, and he's like really enjoying it.
Yeah, and the recipes are like very accessible. They're low-key, casual. They're not like fancy Michelin star stuff, and I think there's something relatable to that of just like, I want to make one taco for one person. I'm just going to throw it on a Dixie plate. Like, it's not about aesthetic. It's not like hanging a phone over the burner into the Le Creuset pot. It's, I'm hungry, feed me now.
Exactly. It's very DIY. If he can do it, I can do it. Especially in 2020 when you couldn't go out to restaurants as freely as you could make something at home.
Yeah, everything I made was sourdough starter related back then.
Exactly. And so we go to 2022, when there is a visible change in Kevin's content. We have moved locations. We are now in a bigger kitchen. We don't have 5 burners. We have one of those like big flat top griddles they cook chicken on at Chipotle. Yeah. It's industrial grade. We're using gloves. And the question I have is, Kevin, where art thou? And the answer is that Kevin has been hired to be a sorority chef. Basically, off his TikTok videos, an alum of the sorority messaged him and was like, hey, they're looking for a chef. Would you be interested? And that's how he gets the gig. And just to give you, your first bite of Kevin, I will play this clip. It's him making like 10 sandwiches.
Guys, let's make a ham and cheese strata. All right, we're going to just start by taking some bread. It's basically cubed up. We add some ham, some cheese, and it's a little egg cream mixture. So I got my bread cubed. We're going to go ahead and chop up some smoked ham. I just grilled this off.
Yeah, so they're kind of like peaceful. There's a few Venn diagrams here in terms of like why this video hits. The first being like any Greek life content. Post Bama Rush gets views. Second, he has this kind of educational dad, how do I vibe to him that I think people gravitate towards because they just want to learn how to cook and they want to feel safe doing it. Yeah. And third, just like the way he carries himself on camera, like he's not like necessarily like hamming it up, but he's not awkward in front of it either. There's a humor in the edit, and he's not cheesy, but he gets just shy of that.
Yeah, and this is kind of where I bring up the next big development in Kevin's story, which is that in 2023, he was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma cancer, and according to Kevin at the time, his doctor said there was a 70% chance he would not survive. So he's battling cancer while working for the sorority house. And we then go to 2024 when one of the girls in the house, her name is Larissa, starts reviewing his food on her TikTok.
Hey guys, come with me to try my sorority chef's dinner. Let's go. All right guys, today for dinner we have baked spaghetti bolognese with garlic bread and Caesar salad.
Genuine question, does that look delicious to you? You can be honest. You can be honest.
Okay, I would say no, but I think it's more so because of the plate. The plate itself is kind of like this blue paper plate, and I do think if had it been put on an actual plate and like put on there with a bit more care rather than, just people at a buffet type vibes, I think it would look better. I mean, I'll eat a baked pasta bolognese. That sounds amazing.
I know, yeah. And like I would eat it too. I mean, Larissa obviously loves it. She's made over 144 Kevin food reviews.
That's
like
oh my God. Well, I'm glad. I hope she's as sweet as she is in that and all of them because when I first watched the video, I was like, is she about to be rude about the food that was cooked for her? But no, it looks like
I know. Yeah, I mean, look, we can call her biased, but she usually does give Kevin a 10 out of 10. But I think that's the right way to go because Larissa expands the Kevin universe because sometimes she'll like post a review before he posts his tutorial. So there's like this back and forth of like, oh, you want the recipe? Go to Kevin's page. Oh, you want the review? Go to Larissa's page. And in a way, they're helping each other grow because think about it. When a person on TikTok makes something, how often do you see someone review it like right after?
Yeah, especially if you're watching a video of like this very aesthetic looking, I don't know, cake. And it's helpful if someone like stitches the video and shows their like absolute fail trying to make it because I know that's too complicated for me because usually we just trust that the food that a TikTok chef makes is good. But actually, they could do with a second opinion. I think it's good accountability work.
Exactly. It's like on a morning show when they have a chef come in and you're kind of like, Jenna Bush Hager, I don't think you liked that as much as you want me to believe. And it's fine. We'll talk about it later. But this is the thing. Like Larissa and Kevin's accounts, videos, followers, they are speaking to each other in such a like college campusy way of like, oh my God, Kevin. We love Kevin. And now Larissa has more than like 748,000 followers, which is great.
So a mutual slay is being had at the Pi Beta Phi house. But you mentioned there's a second Greek life chef on TikTok that you stumbled upon.
Yeah. So I want to take us all the way to the University of Tennessee, where we are in the Sigma Chi house with someone named Baking by Grant.
Oh, hey. That's me making a giant Pop-Tart, but welcome back to the Frat House, where, of course, we start with 45 minutes of cleaning. But I've got a cool one. I made, like, cinnamon roll pancake, cinnamon swirl. I don't know what I put on the menu. She set up a little thick, though.
Well, okay, I do hate to be someone so shallow, but my immediate reaction is obviously, okay, Grant's hot. Grant's hot. He kind of is like a frat boy himself.
Yes. You're not off base. Grant's story is that he is a pastry chef who used to work at a restaurant at Blackberry Mountain, which is like a fancy 5-star, one of those like at least $1,600 a night resorts and lodges up in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Okay, so like 4-course dinner and PDF menus with no prices on it. You just find out after, that type of vibe.
Exactly. And so that's where Grant's coming from. His whole deal is like he applied for this job at the frat house and he had a coworker from Blackberry Mountain put in a good word for him. And now he makes breakfast for 50 guys a day, up to $250 for lunch.
Gosh, I mean, from first glance, Grant and Kevin have two very different personalities, different styles of cooking, audiences, different bodies, it must be said. And you mentioned that some people have tried to create beef between them. And I imagine you mean, argument beef, not a gorgeous
right.
steak.
Digital beef. Digital beef, not
I'd love to
beef.
see them share a steak.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't think the beef is actually between them. I think the real beef is between frat guys and domestic labor.
Yeah, speak on it.
But I am getting a little too far ahead, so let's take a break. When we come back, why fans have made TikTok videos comparing Kevin and Grant and what will change now that school is over.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today? Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices, and that's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies, so you can save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states and situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Oh, ICYMI listeners, do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Oh, ICYMI listeners, do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
And we're back. So, Kate, we are stuck in the frat house of ICYMI, and I would like to now show you my favorite video in this Greek life chef universe. It is a TikTok compilation comparing Kevin's videos from the sorority house to Grant's in the frat house, and the first voice you will hear is Kevin's.
So we had so many girls come through the house tonight. I served every single piece of this, so I didn't even get one myself, but I did get some of the scraps, and guys, let me tell you, it was delicious.
And I couldn't even get a video with all my stuff together to film this before they just started tearing it up, so.
I had a doctor's appointment today, as you can see, so I'm pressed for time and I'm doing something quick, but I wanted to make the girls a nice lunch.
But I swear to God, if you take my tape one more time, I will feed you French toast batter.
Yeah, so very different attitudes towards their clientele, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, look, the comments on this video are great. It's people saying Kevin is a soft girl dad, Grant is stressed, he's so mad. I mean, the music they use for him is also angrier, but like my favorite comment was, frat chef is fighting for his life, sorority chef feels like he's at peace.
Yeah,
you know?
He seems like he's home. He's in his home, yeah. Which brings us to the main differences between these two, because I think, as I've said, appearance is the first one. Kevin is wearing an old t-shirt, he's got a long beard. Grant wears a chef's coat. You can tell he very much comes from like a Michelin star pastry chef background.
Yeah, and I would also say Kevin seems to have a good relationship with the girls he cooks for. You know, there is mutual confirmation in the comments on Larissa's food reviews that they love Kevin. Kevin loves them. In contrast, Grant records all of his voiceovers with such derision for the boys because they leave him messes to clean up at 2 a.m. It takes him 45 minutes every single day to tidy his station, to start cooking for them. They will spell out his name in cereal when they leave it out on a station after dropping the cereal on the floor. And for a while, they barely gave him any feedback or showed any gratitude. He had to beg one of them to make a food review on TikTok. And if you've ever seen a frat boy comment on your Blackboard discussion, you know it's not thorough. You know it's not eater.com. It is ChatGPT at best.
This whole thing is giving when, a girlfriend or a wife will come on to playfully complain about their husband and what they'll describe as absolutely the most heinous, annoying shit.
Yeah.
And so that's, I guess, my question. Does Grant hate his job? Do you think he says all these things? He seems irritated. Do you think he hates being there?
Such a good question. Very not what you say, but how you say it. Because I think on TikTok, look, we have to make some room for sarcasm. I think frat boys are just so easy to poke fun at because unfortunately, for some, they are impenetrable from a cultural cachet sense, especially on campus. But Grant has done Q&As. He claims he loves the job, on the record, for now.
I mean, do you believe him?
Okay, so I just think sometimes Grant comes off a little pretentious. Maybe it's the pastry chef background. Maybe it's the tying, the apron back forth. I get this just vibe of him kind of speaking about this job as if he is too good for the job. That kind of rubs me a little weird because then I'm Kevin's too good for his job. Are you saying that actually you're above Kevin? How dare you come at Kevin when he's not coming at Kevin? But it's tough because I want to believe that Grant is just trying to be funny in his voiceovers, that maybe there is actually a relationship with the frat boys that is deeper than I think, and maybe I just don't know about it. But for some reason, I hear his voiceovers and they just don't work on me. And that's why I just don't like his videos as much as Kevin's.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when there's kind of two creators doing the same thing because naturally you're going to just one is going to make you think of the other or vice versa. And maybe that's where that tension or that beef, that steak that you're talking about starts because, you could see people in Grant's comment sections being I like your videos more than Kevin's, or people in Kevin's comments talking about that frat chef. And it seems just because two people at the same job exist, we have to compare them. But I don't know if they're even worth comparing.
And I think that's where I land because, look, he's actually only started posting this year. He's new to the game. He's also younger. He's 26, whereas Chef Kevin of the Sorority House, he's been in the industry for 30 years, right? And Grant has 343,000 followers. Kevin has around 5 million. And so I would say that Grant's derision probably doesn't come out of nowhere. My sense is that in this house, Kevin only cares about two things, his food and his girls. They tell him, IRL, that they appreciate him and his food's a 10 out of a 10. And I think this joking lack of appreciation from the frat boys, it just sometimes makes it seem like Grant is begging for someone to tell him the same thing or that he's posting into the void,
I mean, that's what's interesting too because I have to say it, and it's not just because I find him hot. His food also looks a little better, a little fancier, and it seems like it's almost being wasted on frat boy palates.
I think that is absolutely it. This idea of input does not equal output in terms of what he's putting in, he's not getting out. And that's the thing I didn't want to acknowledge, and yet that's also where I laugh because Grant is pulling out the amuse-bouche. He's plating pillowy biscuits. The frat boys don't give him any acknowledgement that I know of. And in contrast, look, Kevin, he bakes some spaghetti, slaps it on a paper plate, and the sorority girls are oh my God, this is so good. And they respect Kevin. And I kind of wonder if it's because the girls appreciate cooking as a type of domestic labor more, while I wonder if the boys see Grant almost like a house mom. Like he's just the person who cooks for them. And this is a transaction that I don't even know if they pay for. Mm-hmm. But Kevin and the girls, they have a relationship that is mutually beneficial, you know, because of the engagement they're both getting on TikTok. I mean, look, they made him a happy 4 million followers cake. And so.
Yeah. I mean, even with like the draw to do reviews is in itself an acknowledgement of like Kevin's labor, which is very sweet. Yeah. And, you know, and wanting to show it off. And I don't know, if Grant were a woman, already these videos are just kind of like rub me the wrong way in terms of the lack of gratitude he seems to get. But like you said, it could be played up for the camera. But if he were also a woman, they would definitely treat her differently because, like, you know, they would see her as this like mom figure. And so the moral of the story is frat boys suck, I think. And sorority girls slightly better. But do Kevin and Grant even know there's beef? Like, do they participate in it?
I think we can both tell that Kevin is above beef. He's prime rib. But Grant did acknowledge it, a.k.a. him, in a Q&A video.
Am I jealous of the sorority chef? Only slightly. He does get to make some neat things that I could never pull off in here because there's too many green things in it. Am I going back to the frat house? Well, duh.
You know what? Another thing, and this is me going rogue for a second, but I'm like, what is it that I'm picking up on? And there's just this infantilization of grown men that happens that almost is a form of forgiveness in a sense where it's like, oh, yeah, I can't feed them anything green. And yeah, it's going to be messy. And yeah, they're going to make, you know, they're going to spell my name out in their own mess as like an additional fuck you. And that's just guys being guys. So, but I don't know necessarily that's probably more of a coping mechanism. But it does make me wonder, like, is he being sarcastic? And will he get a break this summer? Because that's the other kind of lingering thing is it is graduation season. I mean, you know, normally the summer is all about Private Chef in the Hamptons. So, like, we're all gearing up for that. But, like, what happens to the off-season, on-campus season chefs? What are Kevin and Grant going to do? Like, Grant just said he's coming back next year. But for the summer, is he going back to that fancy restaurant? Does he have a house in the Hamptons where maybe Wishbone Kitchen is cooking for him?
Okay, can I put something out on pod that is absolutely crazy? Do we ship Wishbone Kitchen with Grant?
Oh, wow. I mean,
I'm not going to lie. I think it'd be kind of cute.
Narratively, that would be great. And the thing is, though, would they ever see each other? Because she's working in the summer, he's working in the school year.
Oh, my God.
The book,
oh my God.
The romance novel is writing itself. And actually, no one take that idea.
No, you're so right. Because, like, his off season is her on season. He can be sous chef.
He can go with her. Yes. Yeah. But right now, they've not been able to meet. They've been two parallel lines.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And then when it's his on season, it's like long distance.
Long distance. All right, there's more to this. There's still an element missing, but we'll come back to it. There's something that needs to happen.
We'll come back to it. We'll sell the bug. It'll be fine. Anyway.
Maybe she teaches him to know his worth.
Say that.
She's like, honey, you're making great French toast. These boys don't appreciate it. I do. Come with me. And I don't know where they go, but we'll write that part later.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, yeah. So you're asking a great question. So here's what's going to happen over the summer, okay? Grant, he had a previous life. He was a swimmer. And so, like, I went on his Insta, and he used to post, like, fitness content. Now that he's free from the frat house, though, I did notice on TikTok he started posting shirtless TikToks, okay? Shirtless, apron on, while cooking. Hazardous.
Oh, listen, maybe it doesn't work for you. It's working for me, but I can tell you're over it.
I know. And the thing is, like, I just think one issue that I have with Grant's content is that, to me, it doesn't seem like he has a clear idea of his pull and of who his audience is. Because looking through his very first posts on TikTok, he used to post, like, macarons with coffee cinnamon ganache. And he wouldn't even do a voiceover. It would just be him at a frame making the thing. And then once he puts himself on camera, those videos are getting 573,000 views. A lot of them yours. And I do think if I were in his shoes, I would be asking, like, do they want me or do they want my cooking?
Okay, so here's the thing from what I'm hearing is like the beef isn't between Kevin and Grant. Maybe it's between you and Grant, and you two need to share a steak, and maybe that's the romance novel. Because I think you'll find sitting across from him sharing a steak that your tune changes, but you would not be alone because I'm going to venture that some followers are following Grant for him and just him and not necessarily his cooking.
So we're thinking enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. But
Interesting.
Then Wishbone Kitchen arrives. This is the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I was in Grant's shoes, I would also maybe be asking, like, is it because I work at a frat house? Is that interesting to other frat guys? Maybe that's who, like, gets served my videos, but hold on. Should I actually lean into the people thirsting after me in the comments? Which, by the way, he will respond to people thirsting at him in the comments.
Oh, good to know.
And so I just think this is a rebuilding summer, okay? Grant lost in the sauce. Kevin making the sauce.
Well, okay, what's the latest on Kevin? Because I do feel bad for talking about Grant for his body and neglecting Kevin.
Right. So Kevin, our king, Kevin has transitioned back into cooking for one in his home. He will be back next year at the sorority house, but he actually has some really good news to share.
Last summer, I had a mutation in my cancer that caused a new tumor to start growing. This tumor was eradicated using radiation. I've also had over 20 infusions of immunotherapy. And my latest PET scan, I got the results on Friday. And guys, it shows 0 metabolic activity in my body. I'm essentially cancer-free.
Yay!
And that's what happens when you have a group of supportive women around you.
Say that.
Say that.
Okay, that's the show. We'll be back in your feed on Saturday, so definitely subscribe. That way, you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and a review in Apple or Spotify, and tell your friends about us. You can follow us on Twitter at ICYMI_pod, and you can always drop us a note at ICYMI@slate.com.
ICYMI is produced by Vic Whitley-Berry, Candice Lim, and me, Kate Lindsay, with help from Kevin Bendis. Daisy Rosario is our senior supervising producer, and Hillary Fry is Slate's editor-in-chief. See you online.
Or at the Pi Beta Phi house.
In honor of Military Appreciation Month, Verizon thought of a lot of different ways we could show our appreciation, like rolling out the red carpet, giving you your own personal marching band, or throwing a bumping shindig. At Verizon, we're doing all that in the form of special military offers. That's why, this month only, we're giving military and veteran families a $200 Verizon gift card and a phone on us, with a select trade-in and a new line on select unlimited plans. Think of it as our way of flying a squadron of jets overhead while launching fireworks. Now that's what we call a celebration, because we're proud to serve you. Visit your local Verizon store to learn more. $200 Verizon gift card requires smartphone purchase $799.99 or more with new line on eligible plan. Gift card sent within 8 weeks after receipt of claim. Phone offer requires $799.99 purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate or Postpaid Unlimited Plus. Minimum plan $80 a month with autopay plus taxes and fees for 36 months. Less $800 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Trade-in must be from Apple, Google, or Samsung. Trade-in and additional terms apply.